getting their hopes up and just being crashed down. Okay? Nailed it.
What the fuck are you saying?
I don't know, man.
At the turn of the century, they were making some movies, but we kind of forgot all their names. So we started a podcast, and we know you did not ask. Too bad for you, my early 2000s.
Hello and welcome back to My Early 2000s, where we talk about films from the first 10 years of this century. I'm Will.
And I'm Daniel.
And we're back!
Boom! And it's Halloween.
We got some spooky beverages now, too.
We are drinking a very spooky beverage. Tonight we're enjoying the Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
No one's heard of it before.
Never. It's a brand new. I'm pretty sure it's brand new.
Yeah.
A new beer.
But it's like a nice autumn hug for your mouth.
Oh, and you know what? It's perfect to be enjoyed during the month of October. So we're right on the money.
Yeah.
And if you save this till December, it just doesn't taste as good.
They sell it in December?
No.
Okay,
But if
well-
you just buy up.
Oh, that's
stock
probably
up.
just because it's old beer.
Yeah. It's
Did
not,
you know beer goes bad? I had no idea.
I don't know. That seems stupid. Shouldn't go bad.
Well, anyways.
Cheers. So what movie did we watch this week, William?
Well, since it's October, we thought we'd take a little trip down horror lane, watch a little spooky movie. Actually, the early 2000s is a very interesting time in horror, but we wanted to go with something tried and true and something that I knew would scare the fuck out of Daniel, so we watched The Ring from 2002.
I am not a horror fan, William. I don't like it. I don't watch it. It keeps me up at night, but because I love you.
Well, that's why we're doing this.
And I love this show.
I'm making sure you're okay.
You know what? I watched it, and I survived, but I watched it this morning, and I haven't slept yet. So
That's true. So we'll find out tonight when you're crying.
yes.
And I'll just pretend that that's nothing.
Hopefully it's all good.
So The Ring is kind of the trend that I would sort of put on the early 2000s. There's a lot of remakes, a lot of the beginnings of rehashings and retelling of stories that we've either...
Wait.
Yeah, no.
It's not an original movie. It's from Japan.
Right.
So it was made in as a Japanese film first.
Yes. So there was a film called Ringu.
Could it be Ring U, like Ring University?
Where's that?
I don't know. In Japan.
No, but yeah, there's a lot of those ghost stories that are coming out of Japan at this time in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow.
And Hollywood sprung on that because people were watching these films.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to read. I love foreign films, but a lot of people do not want to fucking read.
You know what? Reading is really much harder than just watching TV.
It's true.
That's why we watch more TV than books. Anyway, so apparently it's based off of a film from Japan called Ringu.
Hideo Nakata. I don't know if I'm butchering that, but that's the original director, the original storyteller of Ringu.
What's his name again? Say it one more time. Do it. Let me ask it again. What's his name again?
Hideo Nakata.
It means no worries.
That's fucking terrible.
All right. Well,
The original film's from 1998, and then for American audiences, remade in 2002.
and when it was remade in 2002, it was directed by Gore Verbinski with Aaron Kruger writing the screenplay. And we also have Koji Suzuki.
He did, like-
credited with the novel.
He did like all the director did all like the Pirates movies, like the original 3 Pirates movies.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh. And Hiroshi Takahashi is also uncredited as one of the writers on this screenplay. It stars Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, Brian Cox, David Dorfman, Amber Tamblin's in it for a minute. Anyway, so what's The Ring about, William?
Well, I think before we dive in to the plot, I just think it's important to note that this film, for some reason, works. There's a lot of films that Hollywood tried to adapt from foreign countries at this time, like The Grudge and other films. And for some reason, the Ring just really works. There's something tonally that transfers over, even with the barrier of the language barrier.
To American audiences, you mean?
I just think it's a successful interpretation of the original film.
Did you watch the other one?
I have seen it.
You have seen it.
I haven't
Okay.
seen it in like 10 years, but Ringu was good.
Yeah.
It is very unsettling and super creepy, but personally I do like The Ring a little better. Like The Ring is actually one of my go-tos for when it's a rainy day. It's like a sick day movie. I love this movie.
You get weird vibes when you're sick. I don't know. I don't really watch horror ever because I'm a scaredy cat.
Right. Something we didn't do on the last podcast is obviously, if you haven't seen this film yet and you don't want to know what it's about, spoilers are ahead. So please turn this episode off, go watch the film, and then come back and take a listen.
Or spoil it. It either way.
Yeah, actually, I don't give a fuck.
Just so you know what you're doing. We want you to kind of go ahead.
Now, we are guilt-free.
Yes.
I feel so much better.
Our lawyers
I
asked
wash
us to
my
do
hands
that.
of you. The Ring stars Naomi Watts, who plays the character Rachel, who is this very disoriented, established mother. She's taking care of her son. She's a single mother. And early on in the film, her niece passes away of mysterious circumstances. So Naomi Watts' sister asks for a little bit of help. Just any answers, anything to help them with why their daughter died.
Well, and because she's a journalist, because she has resources to ask questions.
She knows how to ask questions.
Exactly.
She knows where to go.
Basically, the premise of the movie kind of relies on this film that if you watch it, then you're going to be dead within 7 days of viewing it.
It's a good old folktale.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the old man down the street or something creepy that happened in your neighborhood.
Exactly. It's just with VCRs.
I don't know if everyone listening to this right now remembers a time when you physically sent somebody something, like a VCR, a DVD, a cassette tape, a CD. Like, no one burns CDs anymore. No one's going to really relate to this film anymore.
Yeah, well, someone asked me to burn a CD last week, and I was like, I don't even remember how to do that.
It's so funny because when this film came out, it was in the height of DVD sales.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. The first DVD I got, like when we got a DVD player, and the first DVD we bought was The Grinch. I think that came out in 2000, so it was probably 2001. Yes, it's really starting to hit home by 2002, but maybe not when they're writing this movie. It's still pretty new. Things happen.
Basically,
and
Rachel comes across this tape. She asks the right questions, and she eventually comes into possession of this creepy tape that everyone's talking about.
And she watches it.
What a fucking idiot.
I don't know.
Like-
Yeah.
There is something about that tape that visually doesn't fully hold up anymore for me. Like, that shit used to scare the crap out of me as a kid, but some of it's a little cheesy now.
Right.
But that's what's sort of cool is, like, The Ring was never successful at its gimmicky stuff. It was always successful with its just slow burn tone. This is not a horror film that's going to have scares every 5 minutes.
It really didn't have
It's almost
those.
like a mystery,
Yeah.
like a thriller mystery movie.
Yeah.
It's not at all like The Grudge. That's all I know.
I'd never seen The Grudge, but I do remember while we were watching expecting something to jump or happen that would quickly kind of catch me off my guard, and it didn't happen almost ever. I had a general feeling of fear.
The opening scene with the two schoolgirls is very chilling and
Yes.
plays on those. I think it almost gives you everything you're expecting in that first 5 minutes, and then it takes it away from you.
Right.
And you sort of feel disoriented for the next like 45 an hour.
Yeah, that opening scene really kind of gets you in a zone where it helps you believe in this tape, which, I mean, moving on in the film, if we weren't to have that scene, I don't know, I would be like, it's a stupid tape. Don't watch it. I don't know. Destroy it. Like, there's a bunch of other things that I can think to do. I wouldn't have bought it.
I think it's just a very, very early commentary on sort of what pop culture and internet culture and online culture has sort of become. I remember a time making movies as a young kid and sharing those VHS edits with friends, with people, and you would spread your tapes around the neighborhood, and there would be kids you didn't even know that had seen your film. I remember this, and we sort of do that now. There's so much clickbait on Facebook and on Twitter, and there's so many videos that you shouldn't watch. And sometimes you will click on stories and things that you don't want to see, a car accident or whatever. And I think that goes in line with this movie. These people know they shouldn't watch this fucking tape. People have died and they still got to see it.
Yeah.
There's that human curiosity and that weird spread. It's like this weird undertone of sickness and like how you can spread something that's not even true or not even good. You can spread something so evil.
Yeah, totally.
It's way ahead of its time.
Yeah, and in a way, I wouldn't have thought of it like that, but there are certainly videos that I kind of scroll past, and I don't want to watch them, but for some reason I do.
Yeah.
And then I'm mad at myself after. I don't get a phone call that tells me I'm going to die in 7 days. That's the one difference. I feel like, though, if that movie were made today, it would just be like a little text message.
Well, that's
7.
funny because they did make it today. They made like a new Ring movie like last year.
A new Ring movie last year?
Yeah, they called it Rings, which is super confusing because
I remember that.
they made a short film called Rings that was the bridge story between Ring 1 and Ring 2, and it was actually like super interesting. Ring 2 is not good though.
No.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever needs to go there.
Does it have the same cast?
No, it has the cast. I actually have the short film Rings somewhere. But if you know the overall premise of The Ring, essentially what Rings is, the short film, it almost becomes like a drug or a dare you do. Kind of like the cinnamon challenge or the ice bucket challenge.
Oh, okay.
So kids at school are passing around the tape, and you have to make a copy and pass it along to somebody. And you have to document everything you see, how close you get to death and seeing the girl.
Oh my God. I don't like that.
But yeah, they keep trying to rehash this idea, but for some reason it just works in this VHS world.
Yeah.
That's where it's most believable.
Why do you like or dislike this movie? Like what is it about it?
I think I really enjoy this film so much just because it plays with your expectations of what a horror film should be, and it says we're not going to do that. I think there's a few shots they even do that are very homage-y to The Shining and Hitchcock and everything, but then they won't give you the relief of the jump scare that normally come along with those shots that you're visually so used to. So you're just uncomfortable until the very, very end, and even when you're given that sense of relief in the well near the end, and then the next morning everything's still fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's just, it never gets better. And it's so fun to see the characters get beaten down like that and finally accept what they need to do. Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately Rachel's lesson, I think, is she has to really accept finally that she's a parent. This movie is filled with parents that don't want to admit they have children, don't want to admit they have responsibility at all. Samara's neglected by her parents. Mm-hmm. Her father thinks his wife was never supposed to have a child.
Right.
Rachel and Noah won't even acknowledge Aiden. Aiden's like this tiny little kid, but he's acting more mature than I've ever acted in my entire life. He's kind of taking care of himself.
Yeah.
He even calls his mom Rachel.
Yeah, he doesn't call his mom.
That was super weird to you. I remember you saying that a lot of times.
Yeah, it was very it felt like an odd choice for something that I never really got satisfaction out of, you know?
I think it's just sort of implied that he's had to
kind of
take care of himself, and she hasn't really been there, and it's not till she, spoilers again, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, when she ultimately helps him create another tape that's going to get someone else into trouble.
Right.
Because she doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
She's going to do everything she needs to do for her kid.
Yeah.
And that's the first time she does that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because thinking back on it, early on in the film, he's like walking himself to school. He looks like he's 6 or 7. I don't know
He's
how old he
making
is,
his
but
sandwiches in the morning.
Right.
He's taking care of himself.
Yeah.
He picks out her dress for her to go to the funeral for his cousin.
I didn't even pick up on that when I was watching it. Yeah, you're right.
It's a very quiet movie that's telling you a lot.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I think that's why I like it, because there's a lot of films that try to be The Ring, but none of them have that sense of detail in every little element of storytelling. What about you? Why do you like the film? Or dislike it, I guess.
Well, you just kind of blew my mind a little bit. So I'm...
You didn't see it that way. But this is also your second time seeing the film ever.
Yes, I saw it when it came out in 2002.
Yes.
And I saw it in the theaters.
I didn't even see it in theaters.
Oh, it was like the talk of my class. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade. I was not, allowed to do a lot of things, but for some reason I was able to talk my mom into taking me, and she took me. Yeah. We saw it, and I remember being scared when I saw it. I remember being pretty terrified, but I also remember loving it. Yeah. And I also remember something that kind of really set it in, kind of put the nails in the coffin for me, was I was that night, this is back when AOL Instant Messenger was a thing, back when emojis were really emojis. Yeah. And the internet was like a thing that you were just on all night sitting in front of a big giant computer. So I would, it was like probably a Friday, so it was online. Everyone had gone to bed except me. So I was down like in the living room on the computer in the dark. Yeah. And we had like this fax machine on the desk above the computer. Yeah. And the phone rang. It's like midnight or 11:30. No. Yeah. And I'm like, and the fax machine phone doesn't ring. Yeah. Like I'm like looking at it. Oh my God. And I just seen the ring, and I'm like, holy shit. Did you answer it? Yeah, I did. It was there. The voice said 7 days. I'm not kidding you. No fucking way. Just like some kid in your class fucking with you? It was my mom. I found out. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, she called from the house phone while she was in bed. I think she felt so bad that like 30 minutes later she checked in told me it was her.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love your mom for that.
Yeah, I think it ruined horror movies for me, though.
No, for sure. This was a film when we were younger that everyone was afraid of.
Yeah. It was it was being called the scariest movie of all time.
Yeah.
At least among 13-year-olds.
I think it's because you don't get those jump scares. You don't get that relief.
Right.
When something scares you with a super loud noise and then it's quiet after, you get to laugh it off.
Yeah.
I remember very vividly Doug Brown's birthday. Someone bought him the movie for his birthday, and it was like 20 kids just all piled around this TV. We turned off all the lights. It's like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And we just play this fucking thing. And it scared the shit out of us. And it ends, and we're just like, oh my God, best movie ever. And we go to the menu screen of the DVD. I don't know if you remember DVDs. I know everyone Netflixes everything and streams.
We watched it on a DVD today.
But they used to have really cool special features and behind the scenes or whatever. And there was just something on the menu that said, don't watch this.
Oh, I saw that on the menu today.
And it's this very strange artistic film that uses and utilizes deleted scenes and extended scenes. And it also intercuts the tape. And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It takes you back to the cabins with that guy that's like, is this your card?
Yeah.
And someone finds him dead
Oh, shit.
in the cabins. And the card of hers is on his back. There's all these weird, super crazy
I
visual.
don't wanna know that. That's
And
nah.
the very worst thing that's on the do not watch this thing is it's implied after they copy the tape that Aiden and Rachel make to save Aiden at the end of the movie. They just leave it in a Blockbuster, like a rental video store. And it's just this very slow shot pulling back in the video store, showing the tape and all these people.
Oh, my God. I mean, for my money.
Like, you just got scared. I could see it.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like anything you just said. I wish I wouldn't have known.
And I was like 13, freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, no, that's not cool. It's not cool, guys. Going to the ending of the movie, you were saying that you might like that alternate ending.
Right.
I personally was completely satisfied and happy.
Right.
When the movie ended after she gets out of the well.
Oh, so when it doesn't end, like 20 minutes before it ends, when everything turns out happy for everybody, and you're like, shit, they learned their lesson,
awesome.
And everything's gonna work out.
We were sitting there, and I was like, it's almost over, right? And you were like, not really. And I was like, no, come on, they did it. They set her free,
Yeah, but she's evil, dude.
Yeah, I forgot that, and I didn't like the ending.
Did you you just actually do not like the ending?
No.
Really?
I mean, I understand why from a horror perspective.
Right.
That it is that way.
I think I would just argue that Rachel's character fully does learn the lesson of what it takes to be a parent, and Noah is still living in the past. He doesn't fully get it. I know that they don't know how to save each other yet. I know that they don't know that copying the tape saves somebody.
Yeah.
But it's Rachel that falls in the well. It's Rachel that has the real moment with Samara. It's Rachel that learns the truth. And Noah's just trying to do anything he can to get out of it.
Right. Well,
which almost feels like what he's always been doing. He's always trying to get out of it. So maybe that's why. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
There's definitely a reason why he dies. He doesn't die for no reason.
No, I was thinking about that too. And
it's the scariest scene by far. You don't expect it to happen.
Right.
You thought the film was over, and then a character dies.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
What does that do to somebody that doesn't know that that's going to happen?
I mean, I kind of thought when it was happening before I knew they needed to make the copy of the tape and all that, I was kind of like, oh, maybe it's because he was there to save her and she was there to end it. She was there to fix the problem and he was there to make sure she didn't die. You know, that's kind of what I was like. He didn't care about the girl, Samara. He only cared about...
I think that's what I was saying. It's like
Rachel.
He doesn't learn the lesson. He's just still out for his own skin and her skin.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, he lives in a loft. He's like in his 30s and he looks like he's still 24, the way he's living.
Right.
Yes.
Big bomb drop when we find out he's Aiden's dad.
Yeah, you were a little confused because they have a moment earlier on in the film where they walk by each other in the rain and Aiden sort of looks at him like, do I know you?
Yeah. And it did surprise me. It did surprise me when, to find out that he was the dad. I mean, whatever. They made me surprised, which I think was their intent.
Right.
But I didn't really see any clues to that. And you could tell that there was some awkward tension when the girl walked in, when Rachel was at his
I think there's just a couple
loft.
There's some dialogue exchanged up at the top that sort of implies that they've had a past relationship.
I could tell that they had something just based on the awkwardness of their interaction with his assistant. His girlfriend
she
or whatever.
says something along the lines of like, you've never grown up or whatever, like really implying that they know each other.
I guess I missed that.
Yeah.
I totally get why the ending is what the ending is. And it makes sense. And I like it from a story perspective.
Right.
I would have been much happier had it ended the other way, though.
I understand, Daniel.
Personally. So, that's just the way it goes.
You just want everything to work out for our friend.
They seemed like they were going to be a family for once.
Yeah.
Poor kid. Poor, creepy little kid.
Yeah, you do not like him. Let's talk about that.
He's creepy.
Tell me about Aiden, Daniel.
Why is he so creepy?
Because he's never had anyone take care of him. He's had to... I don't know, but his eyes are real big.
They're big, and he's like, meh, 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 and it's just like, what? Stop.
He's like, what? Can you do that one more time?
Meh, meh, meh.
He's literally never whined in the entire film. He's always just like, no, this is very logical, Mom.
Yeah, well, it's like, dude,
He's like fucking Spock.
do you not realize that what you're talking about is weird, but you're saying it like it's fact? Like he's being like, yeah, she shows me interesting places. Well, what? Why? Who? Did you get her name?
Oh, you're talking about when Samara starts haunting him?
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, this is normal?
Can you imagine being that little fucking kid? Your mom doesn't really talk to you, and now some ghost girl that's always wet and dripping and making stains on the carpet is in your room talking to you? That's the worst.
He's a weird kid. I don't know if he's weird in real life. I tried to look him up. He hasn't really done a lot except The Ring 2. His name's David Dorfman. I mean, he was great.
I did not care for The Ring. Yeah, he's
I'm not
fucking
going to shit on him. He was great. He's creepy.
Well, why don't we go into some questions before you get too creeped out?
All right. I have a question for you, William. You're in this movie, not as an actor, but it's your life. Okay? You're her. You see the tape.
I'm Rachel.
Whatever.
Or I'm me in Rachel's situation.
You in a Rachel situation.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that's a good clarifying.
Need to know.
But you watch the tape.
And why did I watch the tape?
I don't know. I
the same reason everyone does.
Yeah.
Because you get curious.
It's curiosity.
Okay.
Exactly. You watch the tape.
You killed the cat and it killed the
me. And
me.
then you realize that it's not a joke and it's for real. Right? Mm-hmm. So you come to that understanding.
Right.
What do you do then?
Do I know about the copy trick?
No, you don't know about that trick.
What do I know? I just stumbled upon this fucking tape with no answers?
You know that it kills people, and you know you got a phone call that says 7 days, and you know that you're going to die in 7 days. What do you do?
Luckily for me, Daniel, It's 2017, and just like how all the new movies don't work, I'll just look it up on the internet and find out how to deal with it.
Wow. Okay.
I think in the new movie, it's like a viral video, and it's like, well, yeah, you just shut down like YouTube for a day, and it's good. Well, what about you? Like, do you just let it happen? Because it gets worse and worse every day. Like, you saw every single day something got worse for her.
There's things I would have tried first, I think.
Yeah?
They wouldn't have worked knowing what does work.
Right.
But destroying the tape would be numero uno thing I would do.
And then you would have been fucked.
Yeah, I would have been fucked.
You would have for sure died then, because you wouldn't have made a copy. I guess that answers that question. You're dead.
Yeah, but then no one else dies.
Oh, so you're the ultimate sacrifice.
I don't know. Is that what it takes?
But here's the thing. She sees things in her mind, and then they just are. So can this tape be made at any time? When Rachel discovers Samara's father on the farm, and she brings the tape, he asks, how many are there? Is this the only one?
That's right. He does.
Those old canisters of film that Noah finds of those weird art drawings that she makes, these things just appear. It's not super explained how any of that happens. It's just sort of like she's evil and it fucking happens.
Yeah, she's like, they just are. What? No, provide an example.
You don't want to hurt anybody, but I do. And I'm sorry.
Those aren't facts.
So what do you think that is then? Is she like the devil?
Like
is she
what?
like a summoner of evil? And she can just create things? Like that's...
Do you have magical powers?
Yeah, clearly. She does.
How?
Supernatural powers.
But how?
From...
No one else in that world has them, though. When I think about it too hard, it doesn't check out.
And that's how Daniel would have saved himself. Congratulations on your life.
Thank you. What you do is you take away her voice. She wants to have one, you take it away.
And then you die.
Yeah, I guess so.
But no one else does until she just makes another tape.
But how?
So, you know what? Good job, Daniel.
Is she a video camera?
How does she put the videos on the internet in the new one? She doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Does she have an email?
She's in a well.
I'm very confused.
I don't even think she has a cell phone.
Okay, so let's get to some of our questions, some of our weekly questions.
First up, Daniel, what was your favorite line or moment in this movie?
My favorite moments, they're generally going to be the moments that make me laugh. And it definitely was the card trick moment. That was hilarious. That was so funny. She walks into this cabin and the guy who's working at the cabin or the hotel or whatever it is.
Right. The resort.
If
you can even call it that.
Resort.
Yeah, murder resort. Welcome.
She's like, hi, I have some questions.
He's like, oh, I have some cards.
And he's like, pick a card. And she does. And she's so good. She always has this like weird smile like, all right. I'll take it. Yeah. She just always has this smile on her face that's like so small and subtle.
She's really, really good in this film.
Oh my God, she's good. Yeah, she's always good. And she's really good in that scene because she kind of plays it like, you're funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
it is a nice break from everything to sort of give us some glimmer of hope early on.
Yeah.
It's stripped away pretty quickly after, but because the very next scene, she watches the fucking tape for the first time.
And he's just like, is this your card? And it's not. Is this your card? It's not. Did you see this? There's this video that's been circulating on Facebook. It's of Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence on like this British talk show. The talk host is like, Chris, I hear you do some magic. And he's like, I do it okay. Yeah. I used to do it. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. He does this card trick. And the whole time he's kind of like talking it down like, it's probably not going to work, And he does the same thing. He's like, this is your card. And she's like, nah, And then he just pulls it out of his ass and it's amazing.
Oh my gosh. I got to check it out.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
So basically, Daniel just loves magic.
I love magic and comedy. I don't know what's happening. So what was your favorite line or moment, William?
There's a lot of great moments in this film. There's a lot of great repetitions of shots to kind of make you feel comfortable or eerie or whatever to disorient you. But I think my favorite moment is like not even like a big moment for the movie, but it's when it's like day 4 or 5 and she's on the phone with her sister. And she starts coughing up what feels like hair at first. And she reaches into her throat and she starts pulling it.
Yeah.
And it's longer and longer. And then it becomes string. And it's disgusting. It's not that scary anymore, but it kind of is because like, I think it's just one of those sequences that's so effective because you instantly feel what she's feeling. You've had a stupid hair go down your throat before and how gross it is to pull it out.
Yeah.
So I think it's just so easily like relatable. You go through that pain with her and it's so fucking gross.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
It is gross. That is actually, that's one of those moments that really made me laugh because it reminded me of apparently two of my favorite things, magic and comedy. And she was just pulling it like the guy pulling
That's right. She was kind of pulling it like a magician out of a hat.
Over.
Oh my gosh.
Soundtrack. Did you like it? How did you feel about the soundtrack?
It's a subtle score in this film. There's not like songs or anything that comes to mind. I think it's just very subtle orchestration. There's nothing that really sticks out though. I can't think of any anthemic moment or anything that's kind of catchy, but there is that squeaky, scratchy noise that they introduce into the music sometimes. It's usually when someone's fingernail gets ripped off or whatever, and it feels like a key scratching almost. You know what I'm talking about? Uh-huh. It's a very iconic noise, and I don't know if that's the sound designer or if that's part of the score, but it's very effective.
Yeah, I didn't notice the score very much, which is
it's kind of just underneath.
I think that's a good thing in a film like this because I'm sure it was adding a lot to the way I was feeling, but I wasn't.
This is a film that has to be heard.
Yeah, I was kind of fearful or trying to talk myself down from being fearful or paying attention or like really intrigued by what was happening. And I'm certain the music was helping me through that, but I wasn't really noticing it.
Yeah.
Which I think, kudos to whoever wrote that score.
Yeah.
Just real quick, who do you think wrote this score?
Oh, is this like a weird trick? Like someone kind of wrote it?
Someone yeah.
Zimmer didn't write this. He did?
Yeah, Hans Zimmer.
The fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I'm dead serious.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, he's everywhere. Him and Danny Elfman are everywhere secretly.
Also, I think he did Pirates.
Yeah. That's his big... Oh, that makes sense then.
Yeah,
because then they both go off to do the Pirates films together.
Yep.
That's so weird that this director does The Ring and they're like, you know what you would be really good at? A fun Pirates family movie with Johnny Depp.
You know what?
It works.
It works.
He was right. They were right.
Yep.
In this film, who do you think had the best performance? Who does the Oscar go to, Daniel?
That's tough. It's not that tough because there's a lot. It's tough because there's a lot of people I want to give the Oscar to. If I were nominating, it would definitely be Naomi Watts, the kid, David Dorfman, Brian Cox, who plays the dad.
So you're just giving it to everybody?
No, this is my nominees. I haven't given the winner yet, and Amber Tamblyn as an honorable mention.
And the envelope says
it's the one we were all expecting. It's Naomi Watts.
Okay,
congratulations, Naomi. Who do you think?
I mean, she is phenomenal in this film. She really, really does carry it. If her expressions were over the top or... Like when she sees Noah in that chair and she has to deliver that blood-curdling scream in just total silence, she kills it.
Yeah, she does.
For me, I feel like Brian Cox steals the film because we don't even meet him until like an hour and 15 in.
Yeah.
And he's just such a presence every time he's on screen. He says so little. And it's such an eerie sequence when that happens.
Yeah, it is.
When he's standing over her as she's watching the tapes. I'm getting scared just talking about it again.
I know. I was fine all day after I watched it. Now I'm not fine.
You're going to sleep so good.
So we have 2 Oscar winners. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations, everyone.
Nice job.
We will send you a picture of your Oscar soon.
In the mail.
Yeah.
William, does it have The Rock in it?
It doesn't have The Rock in it. No. I think we're gonna spend a long time looking for a film with The Rock in it, but we're hopeful.
You know what?
I don't know how long we keep this question on our list because this joke might fucking suck.
Someday we may watch Be Cool though, and it will work.
That's true. I love The Rock.
Me too.
Dwayne, good for you.
Good for you, man.
Okay, this one seems almost like too appropriate for this film, but which character would survive the longest in a zombie apocalypse?
Well, it is obvious.
Is it?
There's one character who I think would survive.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely certain he's not a zombie already. And that character is Aiden.
Yeah.
Is he a zombie? He could already be one.
But I think that's why he's going to survive, though, man. Because, like, when the zombies come, he's just like, oh, hello, I am one of you.
Right? It's like...
perfect disguise, though.
Seriously. But yeah, he's the only one who survives if he's not already a zombie.
Dude, you hate this fucking kid.
I don't hate him. He just creeps me out. I love him. He's so creepy. God, he's like a little zombie. He's a little miniature David Dorfman zombie.
No, he's my pick as well because it's just like if anyone is the most qualified to take care of themselves, it's him.
Well, also everyone else in this film, most human beings are going to be like, what is happening? This isn't logical. This isn't real. And based on what we know about him, he's going to be like, this all makes sense.
Yeah, he's able to not get hung up on emotion and just act quickly.
Yeah, he's just going to be like, yeah, no, the zombie told me this. And everyone's like, what's a zombie?
Wait, the zombie's talking to him?
I don't know.
They're having like conversations.
I don't
we're gonna
know.
Go beat him up.
Boom. And then everyone's like, what's a zombie? And he's like, oh, you don't know. You're dead. Boom. So,
do you know how zombies work?
I don't know. Yeah. I get the general idea.
Yeah.
So you think the same thing?
I do.
We're
just
on the
because,
same
like,
page.
yeah.
What's the best my early 2000s moment? For me, it was just looking at the search engine she was typing in on the internet.
On Google?
Yeah, I remember it looking that way.
Right.
I'm glad it doesn't anymore.
Maybe that's my early 2000s moment because like there's not a lot of discovery research scenes in movies anymore. Everyone can just sort of look stuff up on their phone in movies and we know this information in like 2 seconds.
She actually like goes to a library.
She had to work. She had to go to like a special videotape place where she could print an image from the VHS. How strange.
Yeah.
That technology's been dead for 15 years at least.
I mean, there was definitely some technology, a lot of technology things. I mean, the whole movie is based off of a what is it called?
VHS.
Thank you. I almost said VCR, which plays a VHS. It's very confusing. It was just kind of like a throwback to even see a Google page or whatever that. I don't even know if it was Google, but whatever she was using to search, I remember that. And I remember there weren't ads on it.
Yeah, it's just interesting because as much as you do point that out, it being a very early 2000s kind of feel, for the most part, this film's like it could be told at any time.
Yeah.
It could be made 2 years ago, and it still would have worked for me.
It's kind of like an early 2000s story to me. Maybe in the 90s. It would be fine in the 90s too.
I just think that's why I like this era so much, though, because it's right before the internet becomes a problem with solving every single plot point that ever comes into a film. Like, it's still at that time where the internet is young enough and wild enough that it's not really going to give you all your answers. You're guessing.
Well, and also it wasn't people's immediate thought either. Even if it could have given answers, it wasn't like, go check the internet, Google that. You know, like, I mean, maybe in the late 2000s.
We didn't even have the internet in my house until like 2003.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I definitely had it in the 90s, in the late 90s.
Yeah.
But
most
still,
people did, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wouldn't have expected the internet to solve all my problems until I got an iPhone, really. And now I'm hiccuping.
And before we end questions, really quickly, let's just see how The Ring did when it came out in 2002 and how it holds up today. Daniel's looking.
I'm getting it up. Yeah,
he is.
So The Ring had a big production budget. Wow, $48 million budget. Yeah. I mean, this is pre-Blumhouse, especially.
Who put this out again?
DreamWorks.
Okay.
So Spielberg. Yeah. And they made 129 domestic, 124 in 200, almost 250 million worldwide.
Wow.
This is big. Opening weekend was 15 million in America. You know, very successful movie.
I think it's just one of those word of mouth films. That opening weekend isn't huge. It's decent, but it's not huge. But you can see that after that first weekend, people were like, you need to see this film.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know, for people like me who aren't horror fans, you know, every couple of years, a horror movie seems to come along that people are like, nah, this was good.
Yeah.
And you watch that one.
Exactly.
And this was one of those ones.
I think it totally holds up today.
Oh,
like,
totally.
This is a film I revisit frequently, every couple of years.
I don't, but I often hear about it.
Yeah.
It's still a talking point. When I even mentioned to a few people that I was going to watch The Ring this week, they were like, ugh, you know, like it still gives people the chills.
I mean, like if I'm having a bad day, I don't want to watch The Ring, but sometimes I want to get scared.
I get that.
Yeah.
I don't actually get it, but... All right, so how many Samuel Adams Oktoberfests out of a six-pack would you give this movie?
Absolutely a full six-pack.
Oh, you're giving it the full
I think
sixer.
I'm going to need to. If I'm going to sleep that night, I need to drink all 6 beers because it's great, but it's also going to be a little spooky later. Like, I'm going to call you in a couple hours and be like, I can't sleep.
You're going to call me on the phone?
Maybe.
Don't call me. I don't want a phone call after that movie.
That's exactly why I want to call you.
I really don't want that.
7 days.
Shut up.
How many beers are you going to give it out of a 6-pack? It's difficult.
I think I'm going to give it 5.
Oh, wow. Explain to me why you're taking a beer off, other than that you're scared.
It just has to do with preference. I don't know. I gave Mean Girls a 6-pack because I want to watch Mean Girls again.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch this movie again. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think people should watch it if they're up for it.
I'm going to watch it again.
I would recommend it.
I'm
5
gonna
beers worth.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep that 6th beer for myself for an episode of Friends tonight. And I'm not going to give it to that girl.
I understand.
So that's why.
I mean, Samara's
excellent movie, though.
Samara's creepy. Fun fact, same voice as Lilo from Lilo and Stitch.
You ruined Lilo and Stitch.
Right?
Actually, Stitch ruined Lilo and Stitch for me.
How dare you? Lilo and Stitch is adorable and great.
Lilo's adorable. Stitch is like a really annoying dog. Sorry.
I can't wait for the internet to turn on you now. So that's my early 2000s this week. If you like the show, please subscribe. Check us out on iTunes or Podbean. We're put out all over the place.
Yeah.
iTunes podcast store seems to be the easiest.
That seems to be where I get my podcasts.
Yeah.
So check it out.
It's available right now for download at any time. You can subscribe. It's free. Just please, if you do like the show, give a rating, give a little review.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate
it. Helps
it.
us out. Yeah. If you want to reach out to us, we're both on Twitter.
Stay in contact for when shows drop.
I'm at Daniel Wargo.
At Will J. Gabriel.
There you go. So
those are the Twitters.
We'll see you there.
We'll see you somewhere eventually.
Have a happy and safe Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween, guys. Thanks for listening.
Bring. Bring.
Hello? 7 days.
No, absolutely not. No.
Travis broke that beer bottle. I was just.
I was just calling to tell you that you have 7 days on your Hulu trial.
Man,